or
Yeah, that'd
something.
be
That'd
really
be
cool.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about a bucket list though. We kind of mentioned this before the actual
Mm.
podcast. What's your bucket list for 321?
I would love to do more in schools. I'd
Mm,
like to kind of like help the next generation
me too.
of the music industry. I think that's really, really important. I think when you go and ask young people, like I remember when I was 15 and I was that fan in the audience, I had no idea how to get into music. I wouldn't even have the first clue. And I'd think that was just, if you want to be in the music, you have to play an instrument. You have to be in a band. And I remember when I wanted to study music at A level, I couldn't because I didn't play a musical instrument. And I was like, well, but what if don't want to be a band, but I want to work in the music business?
Mm,
Oh no, we don't do that. So,
really?
and I think it's one of those things where unless you're told about these things, you don't know. You're not given the ability to learn. So
Mm,
yeah, that's what I'd really like to do. And I really want to do more to mentor aspiring managers as well. Because when
mm.
I first started out at 18, poor blushes, that's all I can say. Because some of the gigs they played were atrocious. And
Really?
that's my fault, not theirs. That was because I'd never booked gigs before. I didn't really know what I was doing. And fair play to them, they were so supportive and they knew that I was just starting out as well. So, but everyone has to start somewhere and everyone has to learn. But I know that if I'd been given the opportunity to sit with someone or like have a mentor for the first 6 months, um, I'd have been such a different headspace of
Mm,
how I was actually doing and what I could be doing to progress. So I think more needs to be done for artist managers who are just starting out, and that's something that I'd really like to do.
mm,
But I think just for 321, it's just to be able to grow the team enough to be able to support more artists on a more regular basis. It's very difficult when it's just me
mm.
on the kind of like development side of things. So being able to grow that team and, I think it, one of the main things about music is a lot of people ask, when you say you work in the music industry or you're in a band, people assume there's a lot of money involved. And I think one of the things I'd love to be able to do is to be able to say to my artists, to get them to a point where actually they're like, you don't need to work your full-time job anymore.
Mm.
Maybe they'd have to go part-time, but like I'd like them to be in a position where they could spend more time doing this than working a job that that they don't really want to be doing.
Yeah.
And for myself as well, I mean, I have a day job on the side of 321, and being in lockdown and knowing that I've had so much time to focus on 321, the idea of going to work is a bit boring because I want to spend all day every day working on my artists and
Of
helping
course.
artists. And so I'd love to be in a position where I could be like, actually I don't need to work that little job anymore.